what he's doing at the moment, Haile Gebrselassie, is they approach halfway very shortly. They'll be going through halfway. What he's doing is he's going under the splits that we have for even tempo. Now, he wanted to be some way outside even tempo. It's not as if he's even hitting even tempo for world record pace. He's quite a lot quicker than that, and he should be quite a lot slower than it. So the margin of error might only look like 40 seconds or 50 seconds at the moment, but it actually is significantly more than that in what it actually means to the athlete. Physiologically, this is either going to be an astonishing improvement upon the world record, or it's going to be an error on the part of Haile Gebrselassie and those pacemakers who have to take much of the responsibility. That comes with the money they're being paid, and it's going to end in tears. I suspect, no, Haile, that he is heading for his 26th world record, but if he is, then the way things stand at the moment, he's going to take an enormous chunk, around 45 seconds or more, off his own world mark.
Well, 21 kilometres or thereabouts is the halfway mark. 1:01:27 he ran in Dubai at the halfway stage, so you know, you're getting some idea now of how quick this is. And the point you make about whether or not this is a sensible pace, well, they've got that clock, you can see it on the lead car, and the pacemakers will see that, and so will Gebrselassie, and a little word here and there, not many, a little word here and there might well be passed between this leading group. And it's interesting to see this. They've totally surrounded him. He is totally protected on all sides.
Yes, they're doing a very good job indeed. Here they go through halfway. 62.03 at halfway. 62.03 at halfway. He was 62.29 last year, so he's some 26 seconds quicker than last year. Just under half a minute quicker than 12 months ago. He has slowed a little bit, by the way. I had him at 10 kilometres in 29.12, although I haven't seen that figure officially, as one of the pacemakers there drops out. And then his second 10 kilometres after 29.12 was 29.38. So he has slowed quite significantly through that second 10 kilometre segment.
Yep, that's Jonathan Mayo. His job done as a pacemaker. He stopped and his part played. He's got cramp, I think.
Well, he's got 62.30 on his back, Stuart. They've just gone through in 62.03.
Yeah, well, that was his job then. He was due to pull out at this point, so he did a very good job, actually.
No, the point I was making was that they have gone through half a minute too fast. Astonishing, and when you think that Gebrselassie smashed Tergat's world record figures last year, he then went on in January to run 2 hours 4 minutes 53 seconds. If he's not careful, and if he does run down around 2:04 dead here today, he'll be almost a minute quicker than the next fastest person in history.
Yes, we're watching something special, and the weather actually has provided a perfect platform. We saw at the beginning, and he's warming up. There we go. Let's just break off and make that 1:02:04 for. So the point you're making is right. He's 25 seconds faster than he ran at the halfway stage last year, and not quite as quick as he ran in Dubai. Now that's a good thing because they were far too fast at halfway. So they've clearly slowed down a little bit, despite the fact that they're so far ahead of the record schedule.
And what we mustn't forget amidst all this, Stuart, is that 62 minutes and 4 seconds for a half marathon is a very much world-class time. There is currently no Briton that can approach that sort of time for the half marathon. I suspect Mo Farah, for example, could run that fast if he wanted to. And if you expand that thinking across Europe, there are very, very few Europeans who can run 62.04 or anything like 62 minutes for a half marathon at the moment. And significantly, there isn't one in sight at the moment in this lead group. The East African dominance of the world distance running scene is pretty much complete now. It may well be we will never see a non-African win the Olympic 10,000 metre title, the Olympic marathon title, although having said that, of course, Stefano Baldini won in Athens 4 years ago.
It's interesting, you know, Tim, I was just reading a note on what happened in Dubai. He made a comment after that race. He said from the early splits being too fast, he said when he reached 10 kilometres when I saw the time, I was discouraged. Now that's quite interesting, isn't it? When he saw the time, he was discouraged. So at that particular point, 1:01:27, which is a good deal quicker than they've run today, he became discouraged and knew it was too fast.
Yes, in my words, does he know a thing or two, Haile Gebrselassie? I think by most people's judgment, he is now regarded as the greatest distance runner in history, and that is including those great athletes of the early part of the last century, or the middle section of the last century. Paavo Nurmi, Kutz, of course, the Russian, all the big names who took European titles and world records and Olympic gold, and took running, frankly, in from one era into the next, and did a similar sort of job, I suppose, within their environment or their context, as Gebrselassie is doing now. But their careers weren't as long as Gebrselassie. He's been around since, well, almost 20 years, I suppose, at the top of world-class distance running. He says Berlin is his lucky city. He ran here, first of all, in Ekiden as a junior in 1990. He's come back here again and again, and found it very lucky indeed.
You know, talking about statistics and records, it's quite interesting. The statisticians sit down and they work out all of these things, and another record that he's got on the books today, if he runs faster than 2:06:40, then he becomes the finest ever combined total marathon runner for 1 year. In other words, the best of 4:11:34 when Khalid Kanuchi ran 2:05:38 in London and 2:05:56 in Chicago in 2002. So a combined 2 marathons in the same year, the fastest overall time, and that is, as I say, it's just got to run inside 2:06:40. So statisticians have been at it again.
Well, you can get totally enveloped in statistics. What a lot of people look at is the average of the top 3 times from any